All right, today we're going to take a trip somewhere really special. We're heading to Northeast India, to an island in Assam, an island that was literally born from the changing moods of a mighty river. And we're here to uncover the story of a sacred art form, its one-of-a-kind island home, and its incredible fight just to survive. Wow. Just look at this. Before we get into all the details, let's just take a second and soak this in. We're looking at a whole world of myth, an absolutely vibrant color. And get this, it's painted with all natural pigments onto a canvas that you would probably never expect. There is such a deep story here, just waiting for us to unfold it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll explore the island where this art was born. Then, we'll follow the sacred journey of the manuscript itself. After that, we're going to look at the river, this incredible force that's both a creator and a destroyer. And finally, we'll see how this fragile heritage is being saved today. Okay, first stop, Majuli. This is one of the largest freshwater river islands in the entire world. And it's a place where culture is it's woven into the very fabric of the land, completely shaped by the waters all around it. And what's so fascinating is that Majuli, the island we see today, wasn't always an island. Before 1750, it was just this long strip of land. But then, a massive 15-day flood happened, and it completely forced the mighty Brahmaputra River to change its course. It literally carved this unique landscape right out of the earth. So, the cultural and spiritual heart of Majuli, it beats inside these places called satras. Now, these aren't just your typical monasteries. No, they are these vibrant living centers for all kinds of arts, founded way back in the 16th century. And it was right here that this manuscript painting found its sacred purpose, as this incredibly powerful way to illustrate and hang on to these important religious stories. So, how are these amazing manuscripts actually made? Well, the process itself is just incredible. It doesn't start with paper or canvas. Now, it all begins with the bark of a tree, and it kicks off a journey that takes months and months of patient, really careful work. And really, this whole process is a journey for the senses. Just imagine this, the scent of agarwood bark being smoked over a kitchen fire for 6 whole months. Then you can almost feel it softening in the overnight mist before it's so meticulously scraped clean and then polished to this perfectly smooth surface with a special stone pulled right from the riverbed. You know, what's so amazing is that every single part of this art form comes from the land itself. The canvas, that's the akshashi bark. That vibrant yellow color, it comes from a mineral called hydal. The tool they use for polishing is a river stone, and the ink is this super durable native recipe. It's truly an expression of the local ecology. And the final result, it's just breathtaking. But it's so important to remember, these are not just decorations. These are sacred texts. The paintings literally bring to life these epic stories from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, preserving them for generations on a canvas that was handmade to be both beautiful and incredibly long-lasting. But there's a darker side to this story. The very same river that created Majuli is now threatening to swallow it whole. And what's really sobering is that the research shows the biggest danger might not be from nature itself, but from our own attempts to try and control it. Everything, and I mean everything, changed with the Great Assam earthquake of 1950. It totally altered the riverbed, so what used to be normal, manageable, yearly floods, well, they were suddenly seen as a massive crisis. And this kicked off a whole new era of what they called command and control engineering. It was a complete shift in how people dealt with the river. See, the new policy was all about building these huge embankments to protect the southern bank, because that's where the money was, the tea and oil industries. But this had a huge unintended consequence. The river's flow got squeezed, and all that immense force got redirected, you guessed it, straight towards the island of Majuli. And if you look at the data from the official Majuli Master Plan, it tells a pretty clear story. These big, hard structures, they failed. A lot. Between 1964 and 1993, there were 19 major breaches in the embankments on the island. And in a lot of those cases, it actually made the flooding and the erosion even worse. There's this quote from an ecologist, Paul Sears, that just hits the nail on the head. He said, "Nature makes floods, but man makes flood hazards." And that's exactly what happened here. These interventions, which were meant to help, which were designed to control the floods, ended up creating a much, much more dangerous situation for the people and the culture of Majuli. But this story doesn't just end in crisis. Not at all.
it continues. And it's all about the incredible resilience of the people of Majuli and their living, breathing art.
One really huge step in preserving this art has been getting it officially recognized. Majuli Manuscript Painting was granted what's called a Geographical Indication, or a GI tag. Think of it like a seal of authenticity that says, this is the real deal from this specific place. It legally protects the art, linking it forever to its unique home and the community that creates it.
And the art itself, it's adapting to survive. The traditional kashi bark is getting harder to find, so artists are now using canvas and cloth. They're even creating new things like beautiful invitation cards to reach new audiences. But the soul of the tradition, that stays firmly rooted in the satras, as these artists work to share their amazing heritage with the whole country. There's also a big shift in thinking about how to protect the island itself. Instead of trying to fight the river with what's called hard engineering, people are moving towards nature-based solutions. Things like these concrete porcupines. It's a much smarter approach. They actually work with the river's flow to slow down erosion and help silts build up naturally.
And really, it all comes back to this. This timeless art is such a powerful reminder of exactly what's at stake here. Because despite all the challenges, the spirit, the stories, and the sacred culture of Majuli are still being recorded. They're being shared, and they're being celebrated for all of us to see.
And that leaves us with a really profound question to think about. In a world where our environment is changing all the time, often in ways we just can't predict, what's our responsibility? What is our duty to a living heritage that is so deeply and so beautifully connected to the land itself?